Alrighty. Basically, you're the first guest. It's called the Ageless Couch, and we're supposed to be sitting in the little studio couch.
Okay, we're pretending we're on a couch.
Yeah, well, we're not really pretending. We know we're here. Séan McCann is many things. He's a Newfoundlander, he's a musician, he was the founding member of the famous Newfoundland and Labrador band Great Big Sea. He's a father and a husband, but you're also 7 years sober.
I'll be 8 years sober on November 9th.
5 years out of the band?
5 years out of the band.
And 3 years since telling your truth.
That all sounds accurate. Yes, I think so.
We'll talk about that in a second. You're also a mental health advocate and speaker, and you're sharing your journey with an audience tonight here in Woodstock.
I am, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. It's a beautiful theater.
It is. Here. It's renovated, and not necessarily just for you, but for people exactly like you. Some people might say that you're a really good lemonade maker.
Oh, yeah, probably, if you look at it that way. Life gives you lemons, but life is a funny way of shaping you and making you stronger, depending on how you look at things.
Do you feel like Atlantic Canada's Oprah Winfrey, living your authentic life now?
I don't know if that's what Oprah Winfrey does. I don't think I've ever actually watched a full show. I've seen her in a weird movie recently. That was really weird.
Well, she talks about living her authentic life, and that seems like what you're doing now.
I believe that truth is what needs to be addressed in anyone's life before you can actually live it. And if that's hard and difficult, then it doesn't change the truth of that fact. And I believe we live in an age where truth has been reduced to like alternate facts, fake news, and I don't think any of it's helpful. I also have young boys, one is 13, one is 10, and I know they're growing up in a world where it's normal to literally manipulate a version of yourself for world consumption. And I don't think we should play as loose and fast with the truth as we are. And I think that's the reason that we're not doing better as a society, certainly on a mental health level. That may be because the actual truth, and I believe in any case there is one that matters, and we're dancing around that too much.
What's the difference for you between living your authentic life but also reliving the trauma that's a part of that life?
It's always painful to live in that moment, but I know from experience that it has a positive and powerful impact on the people in front of me when I do. And it also enables me to remember that that secret and that those demons don't control my life anymore. So nice. It's for me, it's an exercise in power. It's almost like a workout in a mental or spiritual way, and it's therapeutic for me. Some days it hurts more than others, but I know it helps others too. So to me, it's worth that.
That turning point for you, what was that? I think the journey to being sober was kind of the catalyst, was it not, to kind of start this?
Well, yeah, people drink and use drugs for reasons, and I was no different. And when I stopped is when I started to actually come face to face with the hard truth. I was sexually abused when I was a teenager by a priest, and who actually served me my first drink. And that's a difficult thing to live with, and I chose not to. I chose to just bury it in booze and drugs. And when I sobered up, began to be present in the world, that truth came back. So it was something that had to be faced, and that's what I do.
Do you remember that moment, though? Do you remember that kind of, I can't hide this anymore, I have to stop drinking? Do you remember?
Yeah, my wife, like many alcoholics, I embraced my higher power, and her name is Andrea. And she gave me, quite potently, and that moment you're asking about, she gave me an ultimatum. And I've since found that that's, if we're lucky, many of us, that there's someone out there that cares enough and loves us enough to do that. And I responded to that.
So since all of this, you've had since leaving the band, you've had 3 solo albums. 2 kind of took you on a journey and took your listeners and your fans on a journey that we weren't used to some degree, as far as musical, talent was concerned. Beautiful, but it was different. It felt more coffee house than it did downtown pub. And this 3rd one, it seems, is bringing you back to that. It also has a coloring book. Can you talk a little bit about that evolution and the coloring book?
Yeah, there's a place was me trying to find, I've come a long way. I know, and I'm evolving as an artist. And for a long time I wasn't, which was, I felt like I was stuck for a long time, partly by choice. But I think now people struggle because of the fact that we tend to manipulate truth in so many different ways every day. Don't even realize it anymore. And especially with the rise of social media and the technology, the phones, the screens in general, we can be anywhere at any time. And I, for one, and maybe it's my age, I'm 51, but I just feel like I'm pulled in so many directions and distracted constantly. And I think it's really important to remember that we all belong somewhere. There is a place where the best version of ourselves can be.
Okay.
And in my case, I found it, and it's still with my guitar. It's still on these stages, and it's still with people singing, always singing.
And we still love you.
And it's about love, and I love you too. And it's, we seem to be so distracted, and I just, this whole record is about finding your place, someplace where you can be grounded and unaffected and not distracted and able to focus. And again, having kids, I'm kind of tuned into that. I see that as the great challenge as a parent. And then with this record it speaks to where I'm from, but there's colors of Newfoundland. Like I brought in the tin whistles came back, the accordions came back. It's a softer record, and it's literally where I came from. But it's also where I belong, like where I've found I should be. And it's been a long and crazy trip. But I just feel like I'm going the right way. And if I had any message for anyone, it's like don't give up trying. Eventually you'll find your path, where you're supposed to be.
The song Stronger, it's the first song you wrote after you got sober. What does that song mean to you?
That's my battle cry. That's me saying, I can do this. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. It was a very poignant time. It was a very difficult day that day. I remember I was having nightmares, and just, really, after 3 months, sobriety, those nightmares started to happen, and sobriety was very, very challenging. And I was very much alone. I lost all my friends. And Stronger was me singing to me and telling me that I was going to be okay because I'm tough and I can do it.
Which is bigger for you now, the music or the message, do you think?
I don't differentiate anymore. I do these kind of public speaking. They call me a keynote. Great. I love doing concerts. Essentially, the only difference to me is, because I'm always me, the difference would be I probably talk more at the keynote, but I always sing. And I always talk in the concerts, but I probably play more songs because there's more time for it. So but they're one and the same. And my songs are on message, or they trigger a message for me to talk about. So I just try to be me, and open and honest. And that's not what I was. For a long time I lived with secrecy, and I lived as a character, the shanty man from Great Big Sea. And I think we did a lot of good work in many ways. My regret is I didn't say more then, but I'm saying it now. I'm still here, and all the lessons I've learned from that experience I take with me. I still write anthems. I still write songs that people want to sing, I think. And that served me well, because that's the whole point of whatever message I have.
People are coming out tonight. They want to see you. They're seeing you as an advocate and a musician. But what does it mean to be more than that, more than the musician? What does it mean to be an advocate?
The work is harder, but the impacts are broader. When I put out Help Yourself, that first record when I just sobered up, it was a very raw and personal record, and I didn't even know what to do. I just literally put it out. No label or anything, and that record really resonated with people. And at the time I felt like I was alone in this, but due to the thousands of messages I got on every medium, I realized that I was not alone, and that was a huge leap forward. And I don't think without that I'd be here today, because we are not alone. Everyone, if I've learned one thing, we're all affected by mental health. All these issues are everywhere. Just because I chose to keep mine a secret and not talk about it forever, for 35 years, didn't mean it didn't happen, And I would encourage people to be more open. And where I am now, I am open. No matter what it is, it's still me. It's always me.
You talked about people on all mediums resonating with that message. What kind of a double-edged sword has been social media for you?
I don't know. I find I had to take breaks from it, and I feel like there's one coming on soon again. It's for me. I just try to populate my own stuff with positive things that mean and are from my heart, you know. But it is a lot of noise, and the biggest thing I've noticed is, you know, according to Facebook, my core demographic is women aged 45 to 54, and
It's not a bad age.
no, it's awesome. It's great. But you know what I find? That's I advertise. I let people know what I'm doing on those mediums. Facebook mainly, Twitter, and now Instagram. My son's on Snapchat. I don't know what else I got to learn. But generally, it's become, even though that's the way everyone kind of tells people and spreads the word, and you can trace how good it is, it also is the very same thing that nails people to their homes and couches. Like, there's typically on any given night now, a woman aged 45 to 54, and my wife is one, will come home and have a glass of wine and be on Facebook. And will not go to the many things she would talk about. Like, I'd love to go see that, but I won't, because Facebook's pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
So I think we're it's something about the messenger and the message here, but I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. I hope it doesn't bring an end. I think it's the biggest competition for people gathering face to face.
Yes. So tonight, we're gathering face to face.
We are.
We've come to see you. And in terms of what this does, all of the money raised tonight goes to Hayward House, and they actually do free mental health programs in the community.
Great.
What do you see as the impact of organizations like this?
I think that, you know, people need to know they're not alone, and they need to know they're going to be safe where they go. And I think Hayward House is that place in Woodstock. It's like, okay, I've got a problem. That's a big step. To admit you have a problem is always hard. To know that you can go somewhere and that there's going to be people that'll understand you and listen to you and believe you, that's what we need. We need more Hayward Houses. We do.
So you mentioned advice for reaching out before people who are suffering. What would you like to tell them?
Don't give up. I would not be here today. I'm not here because I'm smart or anything like that. I'm just here because I was persistent, and I never gave up. And I had people who cared for me, but you know, there's always going to be something that'll help. For me, it was music and my guitar. And not everybody's going to play guitar, but there's going to be something that connects with you on an emotional level that you will be able to seek solace in and get comfort from. And whatever helps you deal with your hard truth. We all drink and use drugs, and our mental health issues, by and large, are usually based in trauma. You know, and it's not. I mean, there's some genetics, but you know, alcoholism, drug, up 85 to 90% trauma-based sends people out of bed. So we need to know that it's something we can overcome, that we're strong enough to do it if we just find the means to tackle what it is that drives us there in the first place. It's always the truth that we must get at. And if we can help ourselves and get to that, we can be successful. And if I have a message tonight, it'll be about that. It'll be like every single person in this room who's in crisis or on the fence is able to help themselves and survive. Because if the guy from Great Big Sea can quit drinking, anybody can. It's possible.
What's next for Séan McCann?
I've got about 10 events left this year. I'm working on a book that I'm writing with my wife. Yeah, and I've been so busy over the last 3 years. This thing has taken on a bit of a life of its own, and I don't want to become the machine that I left behind. So I have to be hands-on in all things. But I feel a little. I feel like I want to do some thinking, and I have more to say. So I'm going to finish up this year and take the new year to finish the book that my wife has now promised me I will finish. And it's going to be a cool book because it's, you know, I remember certain events in a way, you know.
Everybody's perspective is different.
Very different, and she's been there with me every step of the way. But to have her voice, the female voice at this table in this conversation is extremely powerful. If anything, she's more forthright and honest than I ever am. As hard as I am on myself, she can be harder. So it's going to be a powerful and impactful book, and I think hopefully if I can get my part done, it'll be out late next year.
Sounds lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're the
you so
first
much.
guest on the Ageless Couch, even though we're not on a couch. And to commemorate the event,
Ageless, just like me.
You got to read the inscription or the little top line.
My butt warmed the cushions of the Ageless Couch.
I should have brought a cushion. I apologize.
Then we could have faked it in.
Yes.
That's awesome. Is that for me?
That's for you. Oh, and there's a magazine there too, and you can thumb through that. But I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've been pulled in all directions today, but I'm looking forward to tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
again.
Thank you for your
It's
time, and good
wonderful.
luck with the Ageless Couch.
Thank you.